There's lots of reasons that we would begin a practice lying down, or we would incorporate lying down into a practice. And one of the main ones that I want to mention is to utilize the ground as a prop to help support the spine and support the lengthening, for example, of the low back, right? If we did some of the poses that we're going to do lying down, sitting up, they really change. The experience of them very much changes when gravity is working kind of against us. So let's begin lying down. And as we've done prior, and I'll just say it, I'll walk us through it one more time if you want to try this, we'll make some adjustments to the back body. So just take a moment without having done anything else more than you've already done, and take a few moments to scan from the crown of your head down the back body. So starting at the crown of the head, and scan your body going from the back of your skull, the back of your neck, your right and left shoulders, your mid back, your low back, your buttock, your feet. And just notice where things are spatially. So you can notice this with your interoception, which is feeling internally, like how do things feel? But also your proprioception. How does my body feel in relation to the earth, to my mat, to the floor? Are parts lifting up? Do areas feel uneven? So you're not changing anything, you're just taking a moment to notice. And then we'll begin at the feet and take a few minutes to make adjustments. So take your feet and you can take a look at them. If you like, you can lift your head or however you like to do it. You can move your feet a little closer to your buttock with your knees bent. And then take your feet a little further away from your buttock. And you can try it again and notice how that feels in your low back and even below your low back toward the sacrum area or the top of the buttock area. Does it feel better to have my feet a little closer or a little further away? And then notice, are my feet, are your feet in the same line as your knees and your hips? So are your knees closer together than your hips are wide, or are they further apart? Could they be relatively the same? The feet as wide as the knees, as wide as the hips. Then notice your low back, the top of the buttock. Take your heels and turn them out. Take your heels and turn them out. So the outer heels now point outward, and notice what that feels like in your low back, in your buttock, even in your belly. And then bring your heels back to where they were, relatively speaking, as best you can. And maybe you want to choose one over the other. How does that feel? We'll bring the hands to the buttocks if you like. Press the heels down. You can lift the buttock just a tiny baby bit and pull the buttock flesh toward your heels, and then lower your buttock back down. So it makes this tiny baby adjustment to the pelvis and the low back. Then if you like, you can bring your elbows out to the side, press them down, lift your head and chest up a bit, and pull your mid back towards your shoulders, and then slowly lower yourself back down. And notice if more of your mid back is spread out onto the ground, touching the ground. From there, see about taking your head in your hands, or your hands in your head, however you want to think about it, and take the back of the head toward the crown of the head. Take the back of the head toward the crown of the head, lengthening the back of your neck. And then from there, the arms come out to the sides, Roll the right shoulder blade into the back and the left shoulder blade into the back. And then take a few moments to notice how your back body feels now. Does your back body feel more spread out? Does it feel more easeful? Does it feel less easeful? Good. And now that we've made those adjustments in your back, try not to change too much of it and slowly bring your legs in towards your body. Hands behind the knees or on the shins. Now you might be thinking, well, how? How do I not change my back? Because I've just lifted my buttock way up off the ground to bring my thighs toward my belly. But I've said it to this group before, don't pull the thighs in so much. Rather, imagine that the leg bones from the knees to the hips were going down into the hips. And you can use your hands, even if the fingers are behind the knees, if there's any knee trouble, or hands on the shins. Imagine that on your slow exhales, except some of us with cracked ribs. Imagine on the slow exhale that you could put just a touch of your arm weight to help to release the leg bone into the hip socket. The low back is not arching. The belly is soft if possible. The belly is soft if possible. Slow inhale here. Through the nose, as you slowly exhale, let's start to make little circles with those leg bones in the hip sockets. And I did say little, but maybe it doesn't feel like little to you. What if that upper part of your buttock stayed relatively close to the ground or on the ground as you made these circles? Really just watching. Could your back stay on the ground-ish? I mean, maybe it sways a little. But rather than just throwing the body around and wanting an outcome, could you be in the process of the leg bones moving in the hip sockets for a few more breaths? Really allowing your mind to be connected to the movements of your body. And on your next, at the end of your next exhale, we'll pause. We'll come back to center. And then utilize the breath to go in the other direction. So there's no finish line here. What if your breath linked up with the movements of your body? What might happen as a result? So we call it rajasic, the extra movement, the kind of anxious movement of the mind isn't running the body. It's more from a slowed down exhale that energizes the movement of the body. It becomes a bit more conscious and purposeful. The next time you exhale, we'll all meet back in the center and pause. And from here, releasing the arms long beside your body and the feet back down to the earth. And then just notice your outer upper arms and see if it's possible to roll those right and left shoulder blades back into your body, taking the outer upper arms more downward rather than them rolling up to the sky. And having the prop of the earth to support this could be really helpful to start to get that feeling of, oh, my shoulder blades are moving away from the ground into the body. And that helps to open the chest, not spread the ribs out. Keep the back body on the ground. Last week we talked a lot, we practiced a lot about the core of the body. So arms are long beside you. If you have a mat, you're welcome to hold on with your hands to the edges of your mat and pull down and away from your head. And that will catch a little bit of the flesh of your outer upper arm, the back of your head, your upper back, and pull it away from your ears. Now on an inhale, we'll press the heels down, back body stays on the ground. And on an exhale, let's slide the right heel forward. And as you're sliding your right heel forward, lengthen your low back to your buttock and buttock to the back of your right thigh to your calf to your heel. Keep pressing through your heel as your leg gets long. Keep the toes pointing toward the sky and keep lengthening. Don't let go of pressing through the heel and spreading your toes as your leg lengthens. Take another slow inhale here with a very active right leg. And as you exhale, keep lengthening through the heel beyond the wall in front of you. On an inhale, slide that heel back in. And on an exhale, same thing with the left heel. Left heel slides on the floor forward, so you get a little feedback from the floor to bring more awareness to your low back and lengthen. Go ahead and press from your low back to your buttock through the back of your left thigh, thigh through the calf through the heel, toes spread wide, toes pointing to the sky. You're stretching through the leg. Keep lengthening, 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 lengthening. More of your butt goes to the ground. You're lengthening beyond your heel. Keep going, keep going. Slow inhale, long exhale. As you inhale again, that left heel comes back up, both feet on the ground, and release, relax, and let go for a minute. Maybe hands come to the belly. Maybe here it feels nice to breathe into the hands in your belly, or maybe you'd like to lengthen your arms. And if so, keep those ribs in, keep your back on the ground, and just take a slow moment. Press the heels down and extend both arms back, fingers spread well, lengthen your rib cage a little bit, make a little space for your ribs, and then inhale and come back up. So hands come back beside the hips. You can hold onto your mat if you've got one. You don't have to have one. And if you don't have one, you can press your hands down and away from your head to keep some openness and activeness in the chest and in the arms. This time we're going to utilize both legs. So the heels press down. Nice full inhale, outer upper arms press down. As you exhale, both heels slide on the floor and they go forward. The low back on both sides of the back extends to the buttocks, buttocks to the thighs, thighs to the calves, calves through the heels, heels beyond your mat. Go ahead and press through the wall in front of you. Both feet's toes are spreading well so that the more muscles of the legs are engaged. Keep that back body on the ground. What can you do to stretch your legs and keep your back body on the ground? Hint, it won't happen in your jaw. Nice big inhale. Slow full exhale. Inhale, slide both heels back, knees bend. Release hands to the belly and take a nice slow inhale in into the belly. Feel the hands rise up. And as you exhale, feel the hands release into your belly. Feel the jaw soften. One more time. If there's tension in your jaw, go ahead and chew it out. Stick the tongue out. Good. So this time, let's just feel the upper back for a moment. We'll extend the fingertips up to the sky. Feet are going to stay just where they are. So feet, knees, and hips, same distance apart. As you lift your fingertips to the sky, lengthen your arms. So see about taking a bit of bending out of your elbows and plug the arms back into the sockets so that all the tendons and muscles are connected. Fingers are spread well, but they're not hard. You know, the joints aren't hard. You're really seeing here if you can energize. So lengthen through your pinky fingers to bring some awareness to the tricep, the back of the arm. And then lengthen through your thumbs, bringing some awareness to the bicep without pulling the arms out of the socket. Lengthen through the thumbs, bring some awareness to the bicep part of the arm. And then both pinky fingers and thumbs, all the fingers are extending. We really feel more perhaps awareness of the front and back of the arm with the thumbs and the pinky fingers. Press the heels of the feet down. Inhale, keep the back body on the ground. And as you exhale, evenly extend the arms back. So watch your arms. Go ahead and look at them as they start to extend back. Don't let one go further than the other. Have them go at the same time. Lengthen instead of drop. Lengthen the arms back. Pause anywhere. Pause by your nose. Pause by your cheekbones. Pause by your ears, wherever feels good. Back on the ground, heels down, slow full inhale into the side ribs, except one person. And exhale. Inhale, reaching fingertips back to the sky. Exhale, release the arms down and just take a moment. So we're going to do the arms and legs together for Supta Tadasana. Supta Tadasana. All right. So back body stays on the ground, ribs stay in. Fingertips extend up to the sky. Heels press down. Arms are in their sockets. Slow, full inhale. We're going to keep the fingertips here. Arms just where they are. Next time you exhale, slide both heels long, lengthening from your low back to your buttock, buttock to the backs of the thighs, thighs to the calves, calves through the heels, heels through the wall in front of you, toes spread well. Keep lengthening your legs. Don't let that go. Keep lengthening. Press, 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 press. Keep pressing, and on your next exhale, extend your arms evenly together back, just as much as feels good for you. Lengthen through the pinky fingers and the thumbs. One long inhale through your whole body. Exhale completely. Inhale brings the arms back up. Exhale, release the arms and bend the knees, placing feet on the ground. And then just notice, I mean, we're lying on the ground, lengthening arms and legs, but how much was your jaw working? So let some of that go. You can take your fingertips to your jawbone area and pull from the cheekbone down to the bottom of the jaw if it feels tight there. A little massage. Okay, feet come out as wide as feels good, and that might not be any further than you already are. And very gently, we're going to sway the knees left and right. Arms come out to the sides. Real gentle movement here. Knees go left, knees go right. Perhaps coming back to the sinking of the breath with the movement of the body. Notice as you're going along here, we're going to do a few more rounds. What's going on in your mind as your legs are going back and forth? Are you thinking about the thing to do after? Are you thinking about what happened this morning? So there's always an option here to exhale out your mouth, maybe even sigh. to remind yourself of here's where you are. You're not actually, your body's not in the past and your body's not in the future. It's actually right here. And sometimes temperature can really help bring us back. Like if the floor on either side of you is a little chilly and placing your hands there, it's like, oh yeah, I'm here. Okay, one last round. Good, and we'll come back to center. And we'll, because we're here, and many of us have been sitting, as you said this morning, we'll take a moment here to come into a figure 4 space. So the right ankle can cross over the left knee. We'll flex those toes, so toes point toward the right knee. No need to push anything here. We just kind of notice for a moment where the leg naturally goes. And then notice if your jaw is tight. And go ahead and release it a bit. And you're welcome to stay here, especially if there's sensation. We don't want to get into any kind of pain, of course. So if there's some sensation here, you might just imagine that you could actually breathe into it. You could send breath into some sensation in the buttock or the side of the leg. You could utilize your right hand at your mid-thigh and start to press that thigh away from your belly a little bit and notice if you have some sensation then that you can breathe into. Or there's also an option to bring the left leg in, relaxing the left ankle and toes. I'm going to continue to flex the right toes toward the knee. And soften the shoulders back to the ground. Relax the jaw. And breathe into sensation here. So you're breathing into any tension that you feel. We're not working against it. We're not in opposition to the sensations in the body. We're with them. So breathe into it. And with your exhale, imagine that it lets go a little bit, that something releases, relaxes. 2 more rounds of breath here. Good. So if your legs are lifted, great, stay here. If your one foot's on the ground, great, stay there. We're going to take the right leg and cross it all the way over the left if you want to. And if you want to, then the legs can come up and you can hold at the knees. But you don't need to do that. It goes more into like a Gomukhasana legs, cow face pose legs. And you might feel the sensation travel to another part, of the buttock muscle. Or the outer thigh, right? So we're breathing into that and relaxing. Remembering that left ankle relaxes, heel toward the buttock. Good. So after this exhale, go ahead and unwind, come back to feet on the ground, and just a few rounds of back and forth with the knees if you like. You're always welcome to stay put or to go with another motion that your body's asking for. You could come back to that Supta Tadasana, extending the legs long with the back body on the ground, so not arched. You can go back to hip circles. Okay, so this is the last round, knees going back and forth. And then we'll come back to center and move to the other side. So now it's going to be the left ankle over the right knee. Left toes are flexed toward the knee. You might even notice before you go any further, what's it like to push through the left heel? So really activating the leg muscles. What's it like to push through the left heel when the ankle's crossed over the knee? So you're welcome to stay here or take the thigh up and hold behind the knee or behind the thigh. You could stay with feet on the ground or your right foot on the ground and press the left thigh about mid-thigh away. If you've brought the right leg up, you could even use your forearm to press the thigh away. Just had a thought bubble there. So we're breathing into sensation, inhaling, inflating it like a balloon. And exhaling, letting that tension unwind a little bit. Letting that sensation soften a little bit. Good, one more round of breath. Feel the back of the head really supported by the ground, so your jaw doesn't have to do anything. Not really. Good. And then from here, you're welcome to put the foot back on the ground if you like. Come back to the starting position. Or cross the left leg over the right thigh all the way. So the right foot can stay on the ground in that Gomukhasana variation, or the right leg can come up and the left thigh is crossed over the right leg. You can hold at the knees if you like. It's really up to you what feels good there. So taking a breath into sensation. Good, and after this exhale, we'll start to unwind and stretch the legs up to the sky for a moment. Heels push up, up, up. Backs of the legs get long, 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 just for one breath. And then exhale, feet to the ground. Good. And then take a moment just to notice the left and right sides of the body. Notice any sensations in the body, any heat. Good. And then last little bit here, we're going to slide the hands underneath the buttock, the low part of the back, the top part of the buttock. And one thing here that can be really nice is, for example, if you did have a blanket or a couple of blankets, you could fold them and rest your buttock on those instead. But we'll be brief here, but this is just another way to give more support to the low back. Okay, so we'll press those elbows down to broaden the chest a little bit and walk the feet together, pressing the legs together. So you press the knees, well, not really the knees so much, but the inner feet and the inner legs together as best you can. And then as you exhale, knees come in toward the body. And as the legs continue to press together, legs extend up, spread the toes. Go ahead and look at your toes to spread them. See that they're spreading. And lengthen your legs. So how far away do your legs need to be from your body so that they can be long? No bend in the knees. Why? Because we're lengthening those legs to help support your low back. So go ahead, press through the heels, press through the toe mounds, as if you were pushing something away with your legs. Take a nice long inhale. And as you exhale, bend the knees, place the feet on the ground, and release the hands from underneath you. Good. Slow breaths in. Long exhale out. Good. Extend one arm across your ear so that as you roll to your side, you have a pillow for your head. And then roll yourself up. We'll come to tabletop. Wrists under shoulders, knees under hips. Draw those bottom ribs in instead of them poking out and your mid back becoming unstable. Go ahead and draw those low ribs in, helping to keep the back more neutral. Turn the eyes of your elbows, these elbow creases, forward if you can, if that's okay in your body. And then as you exhale, lengthen the crown of your head forward rather than dropping it down or lifting your chin up. And take your shoulder blades away from the ears. So you have a long back of the neck. Slow inhale here. Press the palms down, front and back of the palms down as you exhale. And then inhale, extend your right fingertips forward. Fingertips are on the ground, but your right arm is long in front of you. Press the right top foot down. And on your next exhale, tuck your left toes and slide the left leg long. So we're in an alternate arm leg extension here, toes and fingertips on the ground. So what's going on in your hips and your shoulders and your core? Could you draw the outer hips in as if they were trying to squeeze together? Could you draw the bottom ribs in to release the neck? And if you'd like, on an inhale, you can see about balance without changing any of the stability by lengthening the right arm up, or maybe the leg up and back, but you're extending rather than just lifting. Oh yeah, I'm just lifting. Lengthen, push. This helps the spine to extend. All those vertebrae get a little longer, right? In between the vertebrae get longer. So you could lift your fingertips a half an inch off the ground, but get long. Press through the left heel, even if the toes are on the ground. One more breath. And then exhale and release. Hand and foot come to the ground. Or hand and knee, sorry. Elbow creases turn forward as much as is comfortable. And other side. So left fingertips extend forward. Right toes tuck under and the heel pushes back. Outer hips squeeze in, helping to stabilize the core. Draw the low ribs in and see if that helps to soften your neck. You're welcome to stay here and microscopically lengthen your arm and your leg without growing tension in your neck. Or if you'd like, go ahead and lift a little, but lengthen when you lift. Keep lengthening. Press through the bottom of your foot, just like we were doing on our backs. Lengthen through the pinky finger and thumb, just like we were doing on our backs. We're already sensitized to it. On an exhale, we'll lower down and come back to tabletop. Very gently inhale. Very gently exhale. Good. Big toes touch, knees come wide. Big inhale. As you exhale, let's press the heels back toward the hips in child's pose and extend the ribs, the side ribs forward, lengthen the arms forward as much as feels good. And take 3 rounds of breath. On an inhale, press the palms down and float back up to a tabletop position. We're going to do that one more time, the alternate arm leg extension. So you'll remember fingertips on the right arm, extend forward, left toes tuck under, and the heel pushes back. And even from here, you don't have to lift up from here. Lengthen. Imagine that you were lengthening, not from a place of tensing up your neck or your jaw, but you're lengthening. The outer hips squeeze in toward the midline. The bottom ribs draw in toward the body. Shoulder blades go down the back. We'll take 3 rounds of breath, whether you're lengthening or you're lengthening and lifting, whatever works for you. But if I came around to your left leg, would you push it away? Would you be pushing me away from the bottom of your left foot? Could you? Could you try? After your third exhale, we'll lower down and come to the other side. The outer hip squeezing in starts to give us a feeling of containment. Maybe you can feel that in your own body. 3 rounds of breath, lengthening and lifting. Bottom ribs come in, soften your neck. Your tongue isn't gonna actually help your body do this. I'm sorry. And then release. As you come back to tabletop, big toes touch, knees go wide, nice full inhale. Exhale, hips press to heels. The arms can come long beside you. Arms can rest on your legs, on your thighs, and forehead to the ground in child's pose if you like. You could also rest your arms out a little bit more, so it's more like the bicep rests on your thighs. So it can be more spacious than your hands coming to your heels, but your hands coming to your heels is also great. You know, you just want to feel for yourself what feels more easeful and spacious, right? It is a practice to come out of efforting so hard. It is a practice to come out of efforting so hard. Good. If you'd like here, take a deep full inhale through your nose and a big open mouth sigh with your exhale. Right, so you're in child's pose, deep full inhale through the nose. Open mouth exhale. Last one. Good. Extending your arms forward, go ahead and lift your head and chest. Inhale. And as you exhale, let's slide forward onto the belly. Well, it's the pelvis first, really, in the top thighs. And here is another antidote to sitting. Here it is. So we'll lift the right leg up and pull it back and lower it down. And then we'll lift the left leg up and pull it back and lower it down. So we're lengthening the legs. We're giving more space to the other side of the low back, which is the pelvis and the low belly. Yeah. And then from here, if you like, you can even take your hand to your own belly and lengthen the belly flesh a little forward, and then come and rest your forehead on your hands. Now, if the low back feels achy, there are a couple of things. One thing is that you consciously take the pelvic bone, or sorry, the pubic bone, not the pubic bone, so way down deep, and descend it. It's akin to saying, tuck the tailbone. But that doesn't always land when we say that, right? But if you can feel it in your buttock, it starts to feel like the outer buttock comes in and the buttock it's like energized, you know? And that will help to hold the low back a little bit. It gives a little adjustment there. But some people just prefer movement. So you might bend your knees and sway the feet left and right if there's any achiness in the low back. So we'll be here for a few more breaths. Stillness or a little movement, it's totally up to you. see if the next three, the last three exhales, could spread out what's touching the ground more on the ground. Good. So take your time, slowly walk the forearms onto the ground, elbows underneath your shoulders, unless that is very uncomfortable in your low back, and then slide your elbows forward more. And take that the pubic bone down to help to activate the buttock and the low back a little bit, right? So wherever you're gonna be. If the elbows are a little bit more forward, the chest is gonna be rounded, right? And that's okay. So here, we're just gonna lengthen through the legs. So the heels probably won't feel as accessible, but try and be gentle so you don't get like a cramp in your toes. Just very gently lengthen your right and left legs back. And take a nice slow inhale. And as you exhale, soften the shoulder blades down the back. So whether you're more towards Sphinx pose, and in Sphinx pose, you can start to work those outer upper arms back and take the shoulder blades down. Isometrically, you can even pull the hands toward the body, and you'll start to feel a little bit of rising up in the spine. So see if you can soften your jaw and your tongue, and take another deep breath in and a long breath out. And then slowly lower down and lengthen your whole body long. So reach your arms long, bring your forehead to the ground, have your arms as wide as your shoulders, your legs as wide as your hips, and then inhale and stretch your body long. So reach through your fingers, lengthen through your toes, soften your jaw, forehead on the ground. Take a nice big inhale, a nice long exhale. One more time, lengthen, lengthen, arms and legs, giving the spine some length. And exhale, release, relax, and let go. Slide the hands beside your ribs or your chest, elbows come in, tuck the toes, nice big inhale. As you exhale, press back to downward facing dog if that's accessible in your body. And if that's not accessible or you don't want to go there today, come back to tabletop and walk the legs out one at a time, right? If you're in Adho Mukha Svanasana, you're welcome to bend one knee and extend the other heel and leg down. Extend the other heel and leg down as you bend one knee. Or you could come up on your tiptoes and pull the heels down, right? Good, wherever you are, inhale, we'll meet in tabletop. And then as you exhale, we'll come to a seat. You could sit on your heels. You can sit cross-legged. You can sit in seated staff pose, Dandasana, with the legs forward. Whatever works in your body. Good. Here, go ahead and push your sit bones down. Draw those bottom ribs in. Take a nice big inhale and extend both arms out to the sides. And exhale and release them. So just that proprioception. So now it's the right arm. Inhale and extend the right arm out. Exhale and slide it behind you, bending the elbow. One more time. Inhale, extend out, sit bones down. Exhale, elbow bends. Back of the palm comes to the mid, low back area. Press the back of the palm into your back. and draw those low ribs in, sit bones down. So now the spine is really, the back body is really similar to how it was on the floor, okay? Take this front of the shoulder, it's probably rolled a little forward. Maybe it isn't, but if it is, go ahead and roll the front of the shoulder back. You can see it. You can see it for yourself. Go ahead and take a look. Nice big inhale here. As you exhale, chin to chest. Quarter turns here away from the arm. So we'll inhale and roll the chin toward the opposite shoulder, or the ear toward the opposite shoulder, and then chin to chest. I guess the chin does kind of roll. So here is this interoception piece. As you're breathing and moving, can you consciously release, soften, or just take the tension a little bit out of the right and left shoulder? So instead of holding it, there's an idea here of length. Next time your ear comes toward the opposite shoulder, so it's the left shoulder, just find a little spot there where you want to pause. You could even just find an area that you want to pause in, and then turn your face more toward the sky or toward the earth. And notice what you feel in this right side of the shoulder and neck connection. And then wherever you are, take a deep breath in with a pause. And then as you exhale, chin to chest, release that right arm out and down. Inhale, lift the chin parallel to the earth, and then exhale. Both arms forward in front of the shoulders, fingertips spread wide, or fingers spread wide. Pull the arms back into their shoulder sockets and extend through the pinky fingers and thumbs. Sit bones down, low ribs in. Inhale, extending the arms up evenly. Go ahead and watch them with your eyes. Go ahead and track. Is one going in front of the other? Are they going wide, which is fine, but have them go wide evenly. Have them go wide evenly. Press those sit bones down and lengthen through the side ribs, unless you aren't. And then exhale, extend forward and release down. Good. Take a breath here and notice the left and right side of your neck and shoulders and chest. And then inhale, extend the left arm out. Exhale, bend the elbow, hand to the low back. One more time, inhale. Get long through that arm, all the way from the chest through the fingertips. Exhale, bending the elbow, pressing the back of the palm into the back. And then take a look at your own shoulder if you can, and roll that shoulder back. Give some more space at the top, between the top chest and the shoulder. You're welcome to stay here or release the arm altogether. And then we'll exhale, chin to chest. Sit bones down. Inhale, rolling ear to opposite shoulder. Exhaling, chin to chest. So 2 more times. See if your tongue can just not push into anything specifically. Just let it rest. And then we'll pause if you've come into a little bit of length in the trapezius and the side of the neck. And maybe turn the face toward the sky and then toward the earth. And notice if you find some area of tension, and you can pause and breathe into that spot. See if it's possible. I went to see an acupuncturist once for some jaw issues. And she said, "Oh, you teach yoga? Then go ahead and breathe into your jaw." And I did, and she was like, "I love it. I love when people come in that practice yoga because they know how to do that," right? It's this interoception. Good. Releasing chin to chest. Inhale, extend that arm out. Exhale, release it down. Inhale, lifting chin parallel to the earth. One more time, Urdhva Hastasana. Sit bones down, low ribs in, fingertips forward, arms into the shoulder sockets. Inhale, extending the arms up evenly. Shoulder blades down the back. Turning the palms out. Exhale and push the air down as you release the arms down. So push, 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 push. Okay, we'll come on to the back. If it's nice for you, you're welcome here to take a moment for a little twist. If that's something that your body's really asking for. If you'd like, another option is we'll move through a bridge pose just briefly. You can do both if you like, but don't rush. We'll have about 2 minutes for Shavasana. So if you'd like, in bridge pose, take the outer upper arms down, roll the shoulder blades underneath you. Take those low ribs in and push the heels down. Feet, knees, and hips in the same line. You can press your upper arms down, your biceps down. You can press your hands down and your heels down to start to lift the sit bones up, lift the low back up, lift the mid back up. And rather than pushing those ribs up, just keep them in. Notice what happens in your quadriceps. Press those outer upper arms down. And like a string of pearls, we'll slowly lower back down. Each vertebra making contact with the earth. Imagine that your buttock was extending toward your heels to continue to lengthen the low back. We're going to do it 2 more times with your breath. The heels push down to help to support the low back. The outer upper arms press down to open the chest. And the ribs stay in to start to make contact with the front body. Oh yeah, those are my quadriceps. Oh yeah, my hip creases. So this practice gives us the opportunity to have reverence for the ability of the body to feel love for our bodies. And then taking just a last moment or two, seeing if the body's asking for any little movements, whether you're drawing the legs in one more time, or maybe you're doing a twist side to side, or maybe happy baby pose, Supta Baddha Konasana. Just really listening in. We'll take another 3 breaths. And then we'll shift into our Shavasana, whether you're lying on your back, lying on your side, or some people like to sit in Shavasana. If you can rest in seated position, so be it. But in Shavasana, we're going to let go consciously of breathing. We're going to just start to allow the body to do its own natural breathing. You might wiggle the fingers and toes. You might squeeze the hands and feet. You might squeeze the muscles of your legs, of your buttocks, of your belly, and then release and relax and let go of everything. And just let your body settle and integrate. And feeling the earth beneath you. Gently begin to bring your hands to your body. And feet to the ground. If you haven't already, extend one arm across your ear, rolling to that side. And letting your head come up last as you press forearm and hand down. And coming to a seat. Taking just a moment here to notice what's present in your body, in your breath, and your mind. If you'd like, bringing palms to touch the center of the chest, the spiritual heart center. If you'd like, we'll inhale slowly and Om as we exhale. Om. And bowing the mind to this wisdom and light that lives within us. Some reverence for the ability to practice, to be with ourselves. Shanti, shanti, shanti.